Awesome. So, did you say you were just getting back from like you're traveling home? Were you just on an assignment?
Yeah, we were doing a severity roll in Colorado.
Oh, nice. Where at?
It was in Lake George, actually. It's,
Okay.
it's pretty
Did you
nice.
see any fire while you were down there?
We got one fire. It was like a single tree, but I got to see it, so that was cool at least. But
Cool. A little
yeah,
IP5.
yeah, it was fun. But can't complain there.
Yeah. Do you think you're headed back out after your R&R days?
Probably. I know there's some kind of thing about us going burning in October in Coeur d'Alene, or I don't know. But I'm sure I'll go out again. They're keeping
Oh,
all of like November this year, so I'm pretty excited.
cool. I'm actually in Coeur d'Alene right now. So
Oh,
I wonder where you guys would end up.
I don't know. I know because we worked with I worked for Twin Falls BLM, so I don't know what's going on. They just asked if I wanted to go a couple days ago, so we might get to go up there. I don't know.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
So what's your position with the BLM?
I'm on a Type 3 engine this year. Has been my primary. It's like I've actually been on a super heavy, which has been a lot of fun.
Awesome.
Um, for that, I was on a tender last year, and then I was on a Type 4 my first year. So a little bit of a weird road.
Yeah. Where is
Yeah.
that Type 4 out of?
The Type 4 was out of Twin. All three were out of Twin.
Oh,
So
okay.
I grew up in Denver, and I just wanted to get out. I just wanted to get out of Denver, and I knew a couple people that did fire, and they kind of gave me some tips. And I literally just applied everywhere on USA Jobs, and Twin Falls was the first place to make me an offer. So moved there knowing nothing about Idaho or anything about really fire or anything. I'm super allergic to sagebrush, so that was a adjustment to. But
Yeah, Southern Idaho is way different than North Idaho. I mean, we have like conifer mountains here and not sagebrush up here in North Idaho, so it's quite different.
yeah, well, that's what I was expecting when I got a job in Idaho, and it was very quickly like realized it was not the case. But
Yeah. Well, do you think you're gonna stick around in Twin Falls? You want to move around a little bit?
uh, I'm looking at some different places this year. I'm applying in Region 5 for a couple jobs, and then in Colorado for a couple jobs. So we'll see. I mean,
Not,
yeah,
have you worked in Region 5 before?
no, not at all.
Yeah,
So
me either.
yeah, no, it'd be. So I talked to a guy on the because my mom lives actually like right off of Los Padres Forest, and I love it up there. So I actually emailed the FMO about like jobs, and he's like, "Yeah, we have some perm jobs opening up next month." So I put in for him. We'll see, but
Yeah, definitely. Good luck with that.
yeah, thanks. It's worth a shot for sure. So we'll
Yeah,
see, but yeah. So
nice. Are you thinking you're gonna stick in fire? Is that what you want to make your career?
I think I think so. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know about you. I know we all have days where I'd like sit on a hill, like, why do I even do this job? But I think
Yeah.
like, yeah, I definitely want to keep doing this.
Yeah, I've definitely had some of those days. But then at the end of the day, when it's over, you're like, oh, that wasn't so bad. And then usually maybe the next day you're doing something else and you have a really great day and you're like, oh, I love this job. It's fantastic. I could do this every day of my life. It
Yeah.
has its ups and downs for sure.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It always depends on what you're doing but yeah, I think so overall. Yeah. I want to keep it on fire for sure.
Awesome. Um, so have you had about 3 seasons of fire? Is that what I gather from what you've said?
Yeah. So this is my third season now.
Cool. What's your favorite part about the job? Or like what has this job taught you? Not just like, oh, I've learned how to dig line or the different types of clouds, but like physically or mentally, what has it taught you about yourself?
I think I've learned that the job is probably, I'd say 80% mental more than anything. I mean, really, because like it doesn't. I mean, to a point, like if you're in better shape, it's going to make your life a lot easier. But overall, like it doesn't matter how. I mean, it does, but at the same time, like really, it's down to how hard you'll push yourself. But I think honestly, like my favorite part of the job, it might sound weird, but it's like it's probably like mopping up timber fires is probably like my favorite part of the job. Not even gonna lie. Like,
Oh, that's funny.
like I love IAs. Don't get me wrong, but like for some reason, just pulling heat out of the dirt is just so satisfying to me. I'm just like, I could do that all day. It'd be perfectly fine.
Interesting. I hate the way it smells. Like there's that specific smell of like hot dirt that I just do not like.
Never. I know the smell you're talking about. I've just never thought about like how it smelled.
Yeah.
Huh.
No, but the job definitely is. You have to push yourself mentally for sure. We have this pretty gnarly PT hike that we do pretty regularly, and it sucks every time. No matter how good of shape you're in, like by the end, you just want to lay down and die. Because you get faster as you get in better shape, you get faster at the hike, but it's the same distance, same elevation, and it sucks no matter what. But every time you do it, you break through that mental threshold, and you get mentally stronger and physically stronger. And so there's physical and mental aspects that you just have to break those boundaries every day.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that's thing too is like I definitely want to try like hand crews more because engines are fun, but I definitely want more of like the physical aspect of it.
Yeah. Do you guys have like a regular PT routine where you work?
We did my first year, and then my second year it wasn't as much, and this year it's honestly like a lot of us it's kind of fallen apart. So it's actually been a huge struggle this year because usually I'll work out a lot, and then so actually this winter I lost like 40 pounds and I came in super in shape.
Awesome.
And I was super stoked about that. And then I've been on assignments pretty much. I just got done with my 4th assignment, so I've been like on assignments the whole time, and like I've lost a ton of gains over the season, but it's been now it's like it's another reason. It's just kind of like now we'll just go play sports every day, and it's kind of like it's fun, but it's at the same time it's not really PT.
Yeah, definitely. Like those severity roles are just roles that you don't have a ton of work every day. It drains the gains. Like I always start off in way better shape at the beginning of the season, and then if we have a couple assignments where it's just like we're not doing our normal workload or anything, you're like, wow, I can't even run 2 miles without feeling like death.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. What do you guys do when you don't have like a fire on district or you're not out on assignment? Do you guys have project work to keep you busy, or how do you guys run it that way?
Like BLM wise, we just kind of stay busy around the yard doing projects like sweeping bays. We always have like some paperwork we have to be finishing. Like I don't know are you with the Forest Service or BLM?
Yeah, Forest Service.
Yeah, I know, because I know we have credit cards on the 19th, and we have utilization, fuel, mile. We always have a ton of paperwork to do, so we're always busy with that.
Gotcha. Yeah, we always had like some classes that it seemed like we had to take, or like training stuff throughout the season.
Yeah.
And they always keep us busy with project work, like fuels reduction type stuff, or we had some elk habitat project work that we were doing. So a lot of thinning, and mostly thinning is what my seasons have been, but it's nice. A lot of saw practice and saw time, and you get to just carry heavy stuff through the woods, so you makes a man out of you, so to say. It's physical and good. Yeah, keeps you in shape.
That's definitely the reason I want to go. I kind of want to go to the Forest Service. It's like you guys seem to always go cutting and stuff like that, and like that's what I love in Lake George. Like I think we cut 2 or 3 tanks a day every day we were there.
Nice.
Like it was solid. It was a lot of fun. I love running saws. Like, and I was the only one that could on our crew. I was the only faller 3. So.
So you're like a faller 3. So that's a C faller or an A faller?
How
do you guys run that?
A, B, C. A is the lowest level, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So an A.
Okay.
But,
oh wow.
Yeah.
So nobody else was even like an A.
No. So like I guess I got lucky because I got signed off last year, but the captain I went with, he's a trainee, and then he didn't want to cut, and the other girl I was with, they don't offer it to to our rookies. So I was the only person that could run a saw.
Oh, interesting. Because that's why I was clarifying if it was like A, B, or C. Because where I work, like a saw is put in your hand. Like after you take S212, you are cutting. Just because we have so much work that needs done.
Yeah.
So like yeah, everybody cuts, even if it's your first year or whatever. I mean, even unless you're like a super hazard and our supervisors are like, maybe you really shouldn't have a chainsaw. Everybody pretty much runs a saw. So that's interesting that it kind of takes more time to get that qual.
Yeah, it took a while to get signed off, but the guy I worked with was because I ran saws before, like I worked for a tree service in the winter beforehand. I came in thinking I was like the hottest shit, like ready to just saw down big trees. And then he busted my ass down on a lot of trees, and I hated him. Like the first roll I went off district with him and we were cutting trees. Like I hated him because like, you know, he'd make me put face cuts in like little 4-inch like pondos or whatever. And he'd sit there and pick them apart. And I'm like, dude, come on. And then like, he finally let me get into like a bigger, like I think it was like a 8 or a 10-inch tree, and I just like was nailing and now I was just nailing face cuts after that. It's like kind of like Mr. Miyagi something where I was just like, I don't understand this process at all. And then like it came full circle, and I was like, oh shit, dude, like I'm way better now, even though I hated you for half the summer because you never stopped picking my shit.
Yeah. Oh, it's not something to just like be lackadaisical about. Like good saw technique it'll save your life, really. You're working on your B cert then? Like you guys have a task book then for your B?
Yeah, I got it open. The capped down with this year's A2, so I'm in it. So kind of a bummer, but
I guess it's just so different because I mean we have big trees over here, and like huge cedars and some gnarly trees. Like if they're on fire, like they're sketchy, and usually it takes a sea sawyer to cut any of those down. So we like all of our supervisors are at least B's, if not C's. So it's just interesting how the different like terrain or fuel type kind of drives the saw quals, it seems like.
Yeah. I'm trying to think on our district. I think last year we had one saw project, and I think I didn't even go to it, but I think we were just cutting sage to put a fence in. So we were just brushing. It was just like brushing for half the day, and that was it. So that's the reason I really like going to Lake George every year is it actually helps us get saw quals, because it's virtually impossible to get them on our district because I don't think there's any BLM land on our district that has trees. Like, you know, maybe junipers 4 feet tall or something like that. But
yeah, well, come on up to North Idaho. We got the trees.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, awesome. What do you do in the off season? So you said you're on until November?
Yeah.
This year?
Yeah. So usually I'm laid off in like a week or two, but they're keeping us all on this year. Just because we didn't get I don't know how winter was up there. We just didn't get any grass crop. So I think we haven't even burned 15,000 acres on our district this year, which is way below average. Because I know usually, I mean, especially like July, August, we'll pop a 20, 30,000 acre brush fire, no problem.
Yeah.
So it's been super slow. So we've just been farming trucks out all year and just keeping one around just in case. So I think if stuff keeps on, but anyways, winter wise, I usually go out to California for a month or two and just kind of beach bum it up and fish. And then I go do tree work for 3 or 4 months, and then I go back to work.
Awesome. You do tree work in California, or where do you do that?
I do it in Denver, where I grew up.
Oh, okay. Nice.
So my mom lives in California, so I usually go see her for about a month or two and spend some time with her, and then I'll just go back to work and do something. So that's kind of another reason I'm chasing a perm job, is so I don't have to work 2 jobs a year, and just like 1 job a year would be really nice.
Yeah, definitely a little more stable and normal. I've never been to California, not for fire, not for vacation, never been.
It's like the 15 miles at coast, like you go from the coast in 15 miles, it's a beautiful state and everything's amazing. And then you go inland of that till you get to the Sierra Front pretty much, and it's just like farmland and rural. It's kind of like Idaho, like southern Idaho, really. Like lots of farmland, lots of desert, and not much else. But I love this. Like, I don't love everything about it, but it's a cool place to live if you like the ocean. And I absolutely love surf fishing, so that's like one of my favorite things. And usually in like November, December, it's really good.
Oh, awesome. Yeah. I think it'd be somewhere I'd like to visit. I'd like to see like the sequoias and like, the touristy places of California.
Yeah. No, I'd recommend it if you ever are looking to do it. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Good to know.
Oh yeah.
So you said you like fishing. What are some other things that you're like super passionate about, or some hobbies that you're into?
Say other hobbies. I kayak a lot. I think one of my big struggles is I don't have any winter hobbies, and that's one of my to find something to do in the winter, because I don't really have any outdoor hobbies. Trying to think what else.
Man, but you're in Colorado. You could do snowboarding or skiing. Those are the typical winter activities. Colorado is an awesome place for that.
Oh yeah. Actually, I used to a lot. And then in 10th grade, I got knocked out and had a seizure.
Oh.
Like I hit my head that hard, and then I think 2 years later, I went back with the same buddy. He broke his clavicle, and then I went again with another buddy. He broke his shin like 3 times in a row. We all got so I just quit going after that. I was like, you know what? Maybe I'll find another hobby. And
yeah, that makes sense. You're like, that's a little dangerous. Maybe you're just riding super dangerous.
I don't know. I know mine. It was like opening day, so it was just like the slopes were just a sheet of ice. It was like mid-November when they opened. I remember falling a couple times that day, and I was like, damn, this is hard. And then just caught an edge, flipped around, and it was actually funny because like 2 years later, when my buddy when my buddy broke his clavicle, I was sitting in the same ski patrol lodge, and they were like, you look kind of familiar. I was like, yeah, I got knocked out a couple years ago. And they're like, oh, you're the screamer. Because I would not stop screaming. Like, I don't even know why I was screaming. I just was. Like, it was.
Oh my gosh. Oh, that's wild.
Yeah. But I'm trying to think other hobbies. I like to read a lot.
Oh, nice. What types of books? Like,
I've been
fiction, nonfiction.
I've been super into like leadership and like self-development books over the last few years. Like I just finished up How to Win Friends and Influence People on this last roll.
Okay.
I was like racing to finish it on the drive back because I had like 20 pages and we had like, I think we had like 30 miles. I was like, oh no, I got to finish this now. But yeah, that I play guitar.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. What else? I think all like the other like kind of basic wildland stuff. Like I'm going camping tomorrow morning for my days off.
Did you guys have to stay in a tent when you were on your severity roll, or were you hoteled up?
Oh, we were hoteled up.
Okay.
So yeah.
I always think it's funny. People spend 14 days in a tent and they're like, yeah, I'm going to go on a backpacking trip. I'm like, weren't you just like doing that for 2 weeks? But some people are like that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we had a guy, I think it was when I was in Lake George, our hand crew got back from like the Dixie Fire or somewhere. And like one of their guys, like, how are your days off? He's like, oh, it's good. I summited Pikes Peak. And we're just like, just hiked for 14 days. Like that wasn't enough for you? Like,
yeah. I guess it is kind of like mentally relaxing though when you're just out in the woods by yourself and not doing it for work. So maybe that kind of relief is what people need.
Oh, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
And out a bunch of weight and in a line and 4 people. Like, I get it. I can see it. But,
definitely.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Do you have any like advice for people trying to get into fire or maybe feeling burnt out this season? Like, how do you make it through a long season, especially maybe now knowing that you're going to have to push through like 2 more months than a normal season?
Yeah. I think for like getting through it, I was getting super burnt out at the end of my last roll. And I think like some of the things that I forgot about were just like kind of basic human things that you don't do when you're like getting burnt, when you're on like fires all the time, like cooking yourself dinner or like cleaning your house, making your bed, like just little things that like a normal person does that you don't do every day. Like, you know, if you're on fires all the time, you know, you're used to like packing all your shit up every morning and grabbing a mountain house or whatever it is. So like that was for me, like that was a huge stress relief because I hadn't cooked myself dinner since I think June. And it was like August at that point. I was like, no, I need to cook. Like it just made me feel like I should backtrack. But yeah, I was feeling really burnt out. And then I was kind of like talking to my mom like that day. And like one of the things she pointed out, she's like, just cook yourself dinner. And I was like, holy shit, I haven't cooked myself dinner in like 3 months. And like just that like act of just like cooking for myself like really like just made me feel so much more like, I'm trying to think of a word, like human, I think would be like the right word to a point. Yeah. But just stuff like that, just like remember, because it's really easy to just like, especially if you're tired, to just like go get fast food or like not do those things. And just like remembering to do those is probably my biggest thing. And then making time for yourself. Like I know a lot of times I've struggled like with taking days off when I could offer them, because, you know, people in like our office will pressure you into not, and like just making sure you like kind of have to stand up for yourself and your own needs to a point, I think is something that I've really had to learn how to do this year.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's super important because you do always kind of feel that pressure to be 100% dedicated to the job all the time. I mean, and you should be like, you know what you signed up for a fire season, obviously, but you are like given those days off for a reason. So when you have the opportunity to take days off, take them off. And then hopefully you don't have to take your radio with you and listen to that thing all the time. Like you're just free for those 2 or 3 days that you have off, so you can actually like reset and restart and take care of yourself. I totally agree. Like cooking for yourself is kind of like a reset button for me. Kind of in the same boat, but like the last month and a half that I was on, we were getting catered, so I didn't have to cook anything. And then my boyfriend, who I live with, he's still working, and they're getting fed, and I'm helping out bringing meals to them. So like we're both still getting catered, and I haven't had to cook for like maybe over 3 months at this point. But the other weekend I actually made dinner for once, and I was like, whoa, I can still cook, and this is nice to not eat out of a to-go box. So I'm totally on the same page with you there.
Did you burn yourself like 100 times? You were cooking?
No, luckily I didn't, but it was pretty simple. I just made biscuits and gravy, so it wasn't too bad.
Yeah. I tried the same. I did like pasta with some like Italian sausage, and I managed to burn everything I cooked. I was like, and my hands like 5 times. I just do it like, I was like, God, I didn't realize this was like a skill you could lose, but
yeah, you should have wore your PPE, I guess.
Yeah, right. Oh God. You know, I used to live in our guard station, and nobody had cleaned the microwave or the oven in probably like 5 years. And it got so bad that like we were it would smoke every time you turned it on, and like set off the fire alarms. And finally I was like, I gotta clean this one night. And like literally I was sitting in the couch, like in my yellow, like watching it, like waiting for it to catch on fire. I was just like, this shit's gonna go anytime. Like it was
oh my gosh.
But
that's comical. I hope somebody got a photo of you sitting there in the kitchen in your yellow.
I was the only one there, because I was like, oh my God, like if somebody came home and I'm just sitting on the couch in my yellow, I'm gonna get so much shit. But at the same time, like if the shit catches fire, like I don't want to burn the guard station down. But
yeah, well, good on you. Good looking out.
You guys been busy up in Coeur d'Alene?
So I'm just up here visiting my parents. But I do work like in North Central Idaho. And yeah, we had actually one of the bigger fire seasons that we've had in the past. I think 2015 was like the last big-ish fire season that they've had in that area.
Yeah.
But I mean, are busy compared to everybody else is busy. No, not really. Like we so I'm done now. I'm back in school, but they just sent out an engine to Montana, and then before that they were up in Sandpoint, which is just a little north of Coeur d'Alene.
Yeah.
So like my area specifically wasn't super busy, but kind of around was busier. We went to Eastern Montana earlier in the season. Yeah, because they had more problems than we did. Yeah, we just don't have a ton of. The only resources in our area are timber. So unless it's in like a timber sale unit, or there are like a few private pieces of land in our area. So unless it's like in a timber sale or on those private land areas, we kind of actually want fire to just kind of do its thing and burn. So we have a lot of non-suppression area, and so we manage the fire that way. We're not necessarily full suppression. It's more of management strategies in those other areas.
That's super interesting.
Yeah.
You don't really seem to hear about that anywhere anymore. That's super cool.
Yeah, so we did put in some non-direct line on one of the larger fires that we had, and we were gonna do like burn out from our line to the fire, but the fire ended up putting itself out. So, and it's super steep where I'm at too, so we probably can't go direct on most of the fires because we'd be in a super gnarly drainage with no good escape. And yeah, we'd just be in an area where we don't really need to put people. So unless it's like the perfect situation to get in there and fully suppress it, we kind of take a different management approach.
That's super interesting. Like, that's super cool.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, granted, like my only real experience like in timber, like in like that aspect would be like Lake George in Colorado, because we go there every year.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, they had the Hayman fire back in way back with, but it held like the record for the largest fire in Colorado for almost 20 years. And so now out there, anytime there's any fire, you know, you get 40 county resources and everybody at the works, and everybody just pounces on the fire. So it's like, it's interesting to hear that, because it seems like that's, at least in my opinion, that's what a lot of forests need, is just fire on the ground. They don't need fires put out. But that's super cool.
Yeah, I'm like, the closest town to us is like 70 miles away. So we're a remote location, so we're just surrounded by mountains and timber. So like I said, there's not really any resources other than timber. So unless they're planning on like harvesting it in the next couple of years, it's okay to just let it burn through and let fire run its natural course.
Huh. That's super interesting. That's cool.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. But yeah, so we're available then to like go out to other places. And so yeah, usually they send folks out like almost back to back, it seems like, just depending on the work we have. If we have a lot of project work, they'll kind of keep us around, or just depending on the conditions. Like if it is super hot and dry, they'll keep us around, because we do have a lot of campsites and people come to recreate. So like if somebody's campfire gets away, then we're there to do that kind of stuff too.
That's cool. That's super cool.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I love where I work. It's almost indescribable.
That's awesome. I do want to spend some more. I want to check out Northern Idaho more. I've only really been to like Stanley and just north of Stanley.
Okay.
And then yeah. But what's up?
Yeah. Oh, that Stanley's really cool. Like the mountains down there, like the ones up here, just I think we have more timber.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah.
I think that at our guard school in Salmon Chalice, but I don't even remember. I think it was I don't even remember where it's at. I slept the whole way and no idea. Couldn't tell you. Just some.
Yeah. Well, like the Salmon Chalice, that's some of its own. I mean, like those mountains are enormous, and you can like climb up so fast. Like me and my family took a camping trip down there, I think 2 summers ago. And we took our 4-wheelers and went on a 4-wheeler ride, and you can like get to the top of one of those things super quick because you're just like switchbacking up the side of a mountain and you can see exactly where you came from. And it's crazy how much ground you can cover in so little time, and you just the elevation you gain is insane.
Yeah. I've been on a couple fire, like I was on a fire in Eastern Idaho like that. It was just like, I think we gained like, I think it was like almost 2,000 feet in like a mile or something. Like it was a gnarly hike, but it was short, but god damn, that sucked. Like
that is steep.
Shit. But
yeah, that is very steep.
Oh, that could be advice. Don't be afraid to cry on a hike.
Oh, I've been very, very close. No, I don't think on one of our PT hikes, but just at the end of the day, because I was just like exhausted. Yeah. I was super close, but I didn't break. I didn't let myself break. But yeah, it's all right though if you do.
Yeah. Just silent tears as you're hiking. Nobody knows.
Pretty much, yeah. Silent tears. But overall, I mean, fire is so much fun. I don't know if I'm gonna stick in fire and make a career out of it, but it's like there's a part of me that really wants to, that just like keeps getting sucked back into it, it seems like, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I love it so much, but at the same time I don't know if it's what I want to do for the rest of my life. But there's something about it, it's just pulls you in.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's kind of the thing too, is it's like I'm like, what, like I could do anything else, and I'm like, what else would I do? I literally have no idea what I do right now.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah. Just kind of going with the flow. Nothing wrong with that. That's how I feel too.
Yeah. How long did you when did you like, how old were you when you started doing fire, just out of curiosity?
So I started with the Idaho Department of Lands. I guess I was probably 18 when I started working with them, but I was actually on their timber crew. It's like cruising timber and hugging trees. But they use their timber crew also to like help IA fires, or they'll even send us out on an assignment if they need like extra people to make a crew. And that's what got me into fire, is they sent me to Colorado with some of the fire folks. And I was like, wow, this is super cool. I would like to do this. And so then that's when I switched to the Forest Service to do some full seasons of fire and just be on a fire crew. So I did 2 seasons with the Idaho Department of Lands and then 2 seasons with the Forest Service. And I'm 23 now. I must have been 19 when I started with, I was 18 because I took 1 summer off for school.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's awesome.
Yeah. How old were you when you started?
I was 25.
Okay.
So I did I did when I graduated, I kind of like wandered around, had no idea what I wanted to do with school, and then I went to auto school for a bit. I was a mechanic for a few years, and that was just a soul-crushing job that I never wanted to do. So it just, I don't know. I remember one day I had like this where I just like wasn't feeling the job, and then there was like one day I looked around the shop and like I think I was 23 or 24, and like every dude there was like in his 30s, like miserable, crippled, and just shitty attitude. It was like, this is my future. Like, I don't want this. And so I started looking for different jobs, and I did construction for a bit. And then I had a buddy that used to be on a veterans crew, and he was like, oh, you should try this out, man. Like, they're doing a red card training for some ADs. And I like went to that. And then I never went anywhere that year as an AD. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to give it a shot. And here I am.
Yeah. Awesome. No, nothing wrong with that. And I actually bet your like mechanic experience is super helpful working around those engines. So it's good to have a little background before you just hop in there, like be well-rounded.
Yeah, it actually has bought me a lot, I think. So like, I don't know, like at least where we're at in the BLM, like especially this time of year when people have gone back to college, like our staffing changes pretty much every day. So like it's really helped, like with another, like with captains or something, to just be like, hey, can you help me fix my mirror? Like my pump's having this issue. Like it's definitely like helped me like get a foot in with every captain there. So it's like I have some kind of like buy-in with them. So it's not like I'm just working with some guy that knows nothing about me and like just thinks I'm just some, like, I don't know, like they at least are like, oh, he's an all right dude. Like some kind of like, it's bought me something with that captain before I work with them. So at least I have some like level of respect to build on that. Or that's a shitty way to word it. Like
just like things in like you've just known each other before you work with each other kind of thing.
There's some kind of relationship built there before, like before I go off district with them for 14 days, like actually like a perfect example, like the captain I just went off with, I had never worked with him before, but I actually helped him fix like the wiring on his taillight like 3 months ago. And so it actually like, it kind of got me a foot in because I needed an extra body to go to Colorado. And he's like, do you want to go? And I was like, absolutely, dude, let's go.
Yeah, there you go. Get some more overtime. Yeah, just keep it rolling for the summer.
Oh yeah, per diem. I'm not complaining.
Yeah. Nope, no reason to complain.
No.
Well, awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate you, taking the time to meet with me and, just chat. This is exactly what I was hoping for, just like have a nice conversation with somebody and just see where they're from, what they do, and just get to know new people.
Yeah, for sure. It's nice to meet other people in fire too, for sure. It's always, that is another thing I like about the job is you meet a ton of people doing it that are all kind of like-minded. Like we're all different to a point, but also kind of like-minded to a point as well. Like, you know what I mean? Or
yeah. Oh, I get you. Like everybody has a little bit in common. Some people you have way more in common with than others. And then some people you're like, okay, I can probably get along with you, but I don't want to hang out with you outside of work.
Yeah. It's definitely, I think that's been the big struggle. I think that's one thing I've learned that I really need to improve too is how I deal with people. Like, I think that's my biggest struggle with leadership is it's not like, is like actually interpersonally communicating with people like in an effective way. But I think like, because you know what I mean, you can just be like, oh, go do this, go do that, go do that. But like, that's not going to buy you anything, but actually like convincing people to, and that's been a big thing in the book I'm reading, but like getting people to like put the idea in their head to like want to follow you, I think is like the way, it's like what I'm trying to say. But, like actually like dealing with it like, and like, I'm trying to think of a way to say it. Like, like getting like, think of an example. Like another book I read too was Unlocking the Leader Within You. I think I'm looking at the title right now, but it talks about like positional levels of leadership or like the levels of leadership where you have like positional where people will follow you because of your position. And then you have performance where people follow you based on like how you perform on the job. And then you have that like, I forget the name of it, but people follow you because of like your status or something like that. And like getting past the level of it's like, you're going to like, people follow you because like I'm the FFT1 or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, and that's it. And like that, but actually getting people that to like follow or like that want to work with me because of like my track record or like because of my performance or because of who I am, and not just because it's like, well, I'm the FFT1 on the crew. Like, that's why we're doing this. Like, cause that's not an effective way. So I think that's been like the biggest thing I've realized that I've had to work on a lot this year is like, just like interpersonally dealing with people, like, especially at the yard or something. Like if it's like doing like shit around the yard, like pulling weeds or something, like actually getting people to like want to go pull weeds with me. like that kind of thing, because you can be like, no, we're gonna go pull weeds right now, and that's not gonna be effective. But like getting people to do it and actually want to do it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and it totally, I agree, depends on like if you work as hard as you ask everybody else to work, I think they'll have a better attitude towards doing those tasks. Like if you ask them to go pull weeds and you're down there pulling weeds with them, hopefully everybody like understands that you're doing it too. You're not just making them do like a stupid task just to make them do something. It's like this work needs to be done. Yeah, it might not be ideal, but I'm down here working with you guys. because yes, I'm your leader, but I'm willing to work just as hard as I'm asking of you.
Yeah. 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 I can think of a bad example with that where I ran a grid and like where we were running the grid from was just like a clean ridge, and then everybody at the bottom was like down in this thick ass oak brush, just getting their shit like just destroyed. And I felt terrible because I'm like up at the top running the grid, just walking around like looking at nothing. And then I was like, that was a shitty assignment. Like I probably should have found a different spot, but yeah.
Yeah, sometimes it works out that way. But I think as long as you like show that you work just as hard, you're willing to put in extra effort and bust your ass at doing anything, that hopefully, people will follow you and listen to you and respect you. There's definitely a period where people are like, I don't know about this guy. But then hopefully, after a certain amount of time, they're like, okay, I trust him to lead me. I trust him. He'll keep me safe. And they'll put good faith in you. Yeah.
I think it's been a big struggle this year is like, it seems like everybody's like trying to feel like me out. It definitely feels like very intimidating, very lonely. Like, I don't know, like, like our Fosses are trying to feel me out. Like my captain is, and like other people on the crew. Like it's definitely felt like this year where it's kind of like there's definitely a divide where it's like not quite like all like the first year seasonals I'm not friends with like I was my first year, but also like I'm not friends with, like I'm not super close to any of the perms. So it's kind of like a weird balance where like, because there's only 2 of us that are like on our 3rd year. Like we were only hired 2 rookies that year. So it's just kind of like, I don't really feel like a part of either group, if that makes sense, of like the new like seasonals or like the people that have been there for a while. So it's been kind of difficult to navigate this year. And I think that's been another reason I've really tried to like work on my people skills is like, because it's been something I've been struggling with this year, I think. But
yeah, well, good for you for like putting in the time to read that book and understand that there's some skills that you're gonna have to learn before you might be super effective in that leadership role, because it definitely takes time. I mean, just because you have your FF1 signed off doesn't mean boom, you're good to go. It takes time for everybody. We had kind of like the opposite problem maybe at my work center. So like everybody was an FF1 trainee. There was like 3 or 4 of us. So we were all competing for like those trainee assignments. And when one of us would get one, it seemed like the other 2 were still trying to be the FFT1 trainee and would not really listen to the actual trainee. And so it's kind of like seemed like we were kind of butting heads all the time, or the person who was actually trainee just didn't have anybody's respect because we were all kind of like the same level. And everybody wanted to have their input tossed in whenever there was a decision to be made. And so it was like frustrating trying to work against different trainees to just, you really had to put your foot down and be stern and say, this is how we're doing it. And then kind of toss the other ideas aside if that isn't what you wanted to roll with. It was, it was interesting to make that kind of command presence. When as a trainee, you kind of feel like, well, I'm just the trainee. I don't have like an actual, I'm just the trainee. Like, so why should anybody really listen to me? But yeah, working through that is kind of a big step.
Oh yeah.
For me, it was.
Yeah. I think part of that struggle too is like, and they talk about it in like 280 is like, to be a good leader, you have to be a good follower. But like when somebody else is training too, like I definitely struggle with like, just like, at least initially just being like, okay, like that's cool. We're going to do it this way. I'm just going to shut up and not have any thoughts, which is really difficult.
Yeah. We had a lot of problems with that. Like, yeah, would you guys please just shut up while I'm trying to do this thing? But it went like all around. Like, I'm not saying I was the greatest follower all the time. I really tried to be, because it frustrated me when people wouldn't listen to me when I was put in the trainee role. So I tried to be a good follower and just go along with what the trainee was wanting. But yeah, it was all directions.
Yeah. I definitely was not on my best behavior on one role. Well, so I have a buddy, we get along really well, and he's engine boss trainee this year, and he's like engine boss trainee on our assignment. And so he was he had the command presence of an engine boss, but at the same time, he's like my friend. So when he's like telling me shit like, make sure you ice the coolers, I want to be like, yeah, no shit. But then in like I really struggled with it at first because he'd say shit like that, and I would come back. Like one day he's like, I think we got food. We got all our food and brought it back to the trucks, and he's like, wait for everybody before you start eating. And I was like, and I should have just said, okay, copy. But I was like, yeah, no shit, dumbass, or whatever I said. And he just like looked at me, and I was like, I'm sorry, man. Like I, like, yeah.
That's when he should have made you do like 30 push-ups or something for being a smart ass.
Yeah, I definitely deserved it. I was even when he walked off, I was like, oh, I shouldn't have said that. Like that was a bad move. But
yeah. Oh, it's hard being kind of in both positions, like giving somebody respect who maybe hasn't quite earned it yet, and then trying to gain respect from others. It takes time, and it's not going to happen in one assignment, that's for sure.
Yeah. I don't know how you guys do it, being stuck with the same crew assignment after assignment.
Yeah, I don't know. It sometimes it wears on you, but I always try to just make sure that if I am like getting burnt out on anybody, I'll just like kind of try to go do my own thing for the evening, or like not hang around the same people. Usually people break out into like groups of 4 or 5. It seems like there's kind of these little cliques that just form. I usually try to like mingle around all the little cliques, so I'm not just like stuck with those like 4 or 5 people for the entire 2 weeks or the entire summer. I try to be friends with everybody, so it's like a nice variety.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think I've gotten really lucky working on the crew that I'm on. We really didn't have any big problems at all, and all of our supervisors are they're fantastic. Yeah, just awesome people to work with. I think I just got very lucky.
That's awesome. Yeah, definitely feel the same way about Twin a lot of the time. Like I got really lucky with the leadership we got. But
yeah. Well, you said you're going to go backpacking this weekend on your days off. I guess it's Wednesday, but this weekend.
Yeah. Just camping and fishing. I'm not backpacking.
Oh, okay. Awesome.
Yeah. It'll be fun. I'm going like way out into the desert. Like, I think it's like a 2-hour drive from the highway. I don't know where it's at. I know it's in the middle of nowhere, so I'm pretty excited about that.
Cool. Well, I'll let you get packed up and get to it and enjoy your days off.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for taking time, and I appreciate it. And it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I appreciate it too. Yeah, especially after you just coming off your day 14 and then spending some of your R&R time on here on Zoom. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. Happy to help. Oh yeah, for sure. But
yeah, well, take care and have a good rest of your season.
Yeah, you too. I'll talk to you sometime.
All right. Thanks, Chuck.
I'll see you later.